Nelson and Kirti, it's the first time you're doing something like this, and we're live already. Before you knew it, we were live, and it's as simple as that. It's three of us in conversation with a lot of other people who are watching us, and just before we went live, so there is this little moment that all of us get before we go live, and Nelson and Kirti, you heard them say this is the first time that they're doing something like this. So before they said that, they said, oh, we're very nervous, and I'm already beginning to get nervous. And I said, no, don't worry, it's just the three of us. But that's a lie. That's an absolute lie, because it's not the three of us. Yesterday, for example, the conversation that we had with Mr. Atul Goyal reached some 10,000 odd people. So no pressure, guys, but potentially 10,000 people. So that's the kind of conversation. So Kirti, Nelson, welcome. Yeah. Welcome to a Sunday evening on the Goyal Ganga Pure Delight Facebook page. Even last Sunday we were live, and I said this the last Sunday, I'm going to say it now again, that until very, very recently, none of us would have imagined, हमने किसी ने भी imagine नहीं किया होगा, that on a Sunday evening, people will have the time to sit down and listen to a conversation at 5 o'clock in the evening. But that's the world we're in today. The world has changed completely. Lots and lots of people are at home on a Sunday evening, and what better way to spend a Sunday evening than hear the stories of real people in the real world who are making a real difference in the lives of others. So guys, just before we went live, I asked Kirti and Nelson, I said, how many years have you guys been doing this? And they said 10 years. So let's start from there. Let's start with those 10 years. Nelson, Kirti, tell us how this whole thing happened. Tell us what you do. Tell us how you ended up in real estate and what it was like 10 years ago.
So I actually came from a completely different line. I was in the garment industry. I used to design and manufacture uniforms for the hospitality sector. And in fact, I've done it for almost all the restaurants in Koregaon Park and brands like Idea Cellular. So that was my line. And I reached a point where I felt like I can't do this anymore. I did it for 6 long years, in fact. And we were friends then. We were already in touch. And he was, in fact, with C&W. So he was already in the real estate field.
Okay.
And he was, in fact, fed up with his job at that point. There didn't seem to be any growth. So we got together and he said, I want to quit. And I said, I want to quit. So we thought, chalo, we did some brainstorming, and the idea was, let's use my business experience and his real estate experience, put it together and start a real estate firm together. And that's where Absolute Living happened. And now it's been 10 long years of doing it. So 8 years of being happily married and 10 years of being happily married to real estate.
Fantastic. That's a great way to start this conversation, Kirti. I love what you just said. You said, both of you said you all brainstormed. So Nelson, over to you. What was all this brainstorming all about? Why did you think real estate? Of course, Kirti said you married some expertise, your experience, her business expertise. But then why? Why? You could have done something else. You could have, I don't know, started fashion school. I'm just saying, you could have started anything, right? So why real estate? What happened?
I've done a lot of things in the past. Like I think right after graduation, before going ahead and doing my master's, I've sold, something as I would say something as difficult as water. The Kinley bottles that we had, because I was like, let's just start doing something after college rather than just sitting and waiting. So I just got an opportunity with a friend who was into this business, and he said, why don't you come and help us with some sale and marketing? So I was very happy to join, and I learned a lot. And then I have worked in the banking field for quite some time. So I worked with brands like ABN AMRO, with Aviva. So I learned a lot there. And then finally, when I got to real estate, I think real estate had a lot of opportunities, and it still has a lot of opportunities, I say. Because earlier it was, like nobody really wanted to get into real estate. It was always the local brokers who have been doing this for a lot of years, and their family takes over. So you never saw actually people with MBAs and all that coming into real estate because it was not an organized sector.
Yeah.
But now what happened is there were a lot of large companies that got into India, companies like C&W, like JLL, CBRE. So these are large companies. They're called as IPCs, International Property
Yeah.
Consultants. So when they came in, a lot of people understood the importance of how real estate should be done in the right way. Like I would say that these large companies, they come with a lot of technical knowledge. They brought a lot of information inside India, which I think was missing in the initial days. And the exposure was not, a lot of builders didn't really venture out and didn't have that knowledge.
Yeah.
So a lot of these companies who came in initially, they started with corporate leasing. They were not in the residential space. So they were the guys who got IBM inside, like C&W got a lot of big brands. So that is how, these companies came in, and that's how a lot of talent, probably a lot of youngsters, a lot of people thought, okay, fine, let us join these companies and understand as to how real estate works. So I was in the banking field at that time. So I thought that, obviously the money is fairly large in real estate. I think for everyone in the business, right from the developer to the agents to whoever is in this industry, contractors, laborers, so whatever. So I think that's when I thought that, it's a good idea to join real estate in those days, around 10, 12 years back, because it was fairly new, not too many, I would say not too much competition, honestly, to start with.
Yeah.
So it was a good time to get into real estate. So that's how I joined C&W, Cushman and Wakefield, and that's how I got into real estate at that point of time. And it's been it's obviously been up and down, but it's been nice. It's quite challenging. And I think we both of us, we started with the residential business. So we felt like we really had the passion for residential real estate. Like we have ventured out in the past, in the last 4-5 years, and we are focusing on commercial real estate also. But our core business has always been the residential space. So be it new sales or resales, whatever.
So Nelson, Kirti, interesting that you're saying all these things, because you made 2 or 3 very important points already. So what you're sharing with our listeners is that in the past 10 odd years, the industry has attracted a lot of professionalism. It's from being a place that that employed perhaps a large unorganized force. It has now moved into a space which is organized. It's moved into a space which is process driven, system driven. So we can expect better and better standards from the real estate industry in the years to come. So thank you for making that point. I think that's something that listeners would immensely benefit from, because again, all of us want to, as buyers, we'd all want to be associated with very professional enterprises, and that's a welcome change, right? It's been a welcome change from both the sellers as well as the buyers' perspective. So what are the biggest changes? Yes, Kirti.
I was saying, I also feel like in the past it was more like, a broker was more involved in the process of showing the property, but now like we are doing, it's organized, like brokers like us, and I'm sure a lot more also get involved in the paperwork, in the legal aspects, in the paperwork, in the agreements, and I think that also makes a lot of difference.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, that's a huge value add for the buyers, and it's also something that increases this perception of transparency and all of that these allied issues that buyers have. So I think that again, Kit, you make a valid point. But it's been 10 years, and what are the key shifts that both of you have noticed in these past 10 years? Because 10 years, I'll tell you why I'm asking this question. I was talking to somebody, and one of our former Indian test openers, Chetan Chauhan, he's on critical care and he's not well. He's on ventilator support because of COVID. And somebody I was sitting at lunch with, they said, he was fine. Last we saw him, he was fine. And then I said, when was the last you saw him? And they said 1978. So, and 1978 is suddenly you realize it's 42 years ago. It's 42 years, so 2010 is 10 years ago. It's like a giant shift. So what happened in those 10 years? What are the major shifts that you guys have noticed?
So we've actually, in fact, we were just discussing this last night. In fact, in 10 years of real estate, we've actually tried, I think, everything possible. We've tried resales, which is old properties. We've tried new sales, builder sales. commercial leasing, commercial sales, and everything. And we've even tried the budget homes. We've tried the premium luxurious apartments. I think we've actually tried our hand at everything possible in the last 10 years. And I think our major learning is what, in fact, Atulji very clearly mentioned yesterday was that, the new house, the under construction apartments projects is definitely something that is a key selling product because of so many factors, like he mentioned yesterday, which is that you're buying a new home, you get the choice to choose between whether you want a 4th floor or an 8th floor. Then, of course, you get to choose between amenities. So all of those things. So we've actually realized that, this is what is our major learning in the last 10 years is that definitely builder sales, new projects is something that is definitely a key selling product in our, at least Pune market. Of course, resales do well. That's what I've done majorly for the last 5 years, in fact. But of course, nothing like buying a new home at obviously a better price. So I think that's what has been our learning in the last 10 years now from everything that we have tried.
Okay. Nelson, would you like to add?
I think to add to this, like at least for the last, over the last 10 years, what I feel is a lot of change has come into the market, in the real estate market in the last, I think, for say probably 2017 onwards, wherein we have the governing bodies, which is called as RERA, which has come, the Maha-RERA, which has come in.
Yes.
So that has got a lot of transparency in the market, which was probably not there for a very long time. So there have always been good builders like Mr. Goyal, like you talk about various other large developers who have been making flats for a number of years and who have been ethical and who have been transparent as far as possible. Now, I think in the last couple of years, what has happened is the developers who didn't want to go and be transparent while selling flats whichever real estate, whatever they're selling, I think those guys have been hit really bad, and which is good for the buyer because I feel, the most important thing, like, today also, if you look at real estate, the core business, the core real estate is always residential real estate, which will always remain residential. And within that, the core business will be the first sales, the primary sales, the sales that the developers are doing. So it is very, very crucial everybody at the same level, wherein everybody maintains the same standards, same transparency, same ethics. So I think the last 3 or 4 years is when the actual reforms have come in the market. I won't say that everybody is following it, but I think most of the big developers have played a very crucial role in this and have got their act together. And it's good for the buyer, because the buyer needs to be confident while buying these new properties, because they are dealing with developers, and all these developers are large. They're large entities. So you want to be very, like a common man who's buying a flat. He's a small person. I wouldn't say he's a small person, but he might not have all the manpower or the like PA or a lawyer all the time with him. So this RERA has definitely organized the builders, and on the other hand, it has also organized all the brokers as well, because now even we need to have a registration in place. So we have our own RERA registration, which also makes us accountable at various places. So that I think that's the major change that has come. So I think the buyer's confidence has definitely improved in the last 4-5 years.
That's amazing. You make a very important point for the conversation to move forward. In fact, I was going to come to you with my questions on buyer confidence, because that's really what today is all about. It's all about confidence. And just yesterday, in fact, Atulji was also saying the same thing, that we tend to speak a lot about the current era and the current few months. And yes, certain pay cuts have happened, and yes, stuff has gone wrong, and it'll take time for things to get back to normal. But when you put this in perspective, when we look at an average horizon of 10-15 years, this is just a few months here and there. So how have these past few months been for the two of you, Nelson and Kirti? What has happened since COVID hit India?
So obviously the first few months were absolutely non-functional. I mean, we were not stepping out at all. And since
Yeah,
our
yeah.
work in being out on the field and being out either on projects or showing apartments, so the first couple of months, right from April till up to about end of June, was obviously absolutely we were not able to do anything, and so it was completely dead. But I think our Pune real estate market is really good. Ever since things have slowly opened up, and people have started moving around, we have been getting inquiries, we have been getting calls. So ever from the last 2 weeks, we've actually been stepping out and showing properties, and that actually feels so good that in spite of such a huge scenario, we
Yeah.
still have people who are the minute things have opened up are ready to make those calls, ready to come out and see properties, ready to make that decision to buy a house even in this market. And I think that's just amazing.
Fantastic. Nelson?
I think honestly, when we heard about this COVID, hitting us and everything was under lockdown, I think the first thing I thought about was that it's a good time to take a break, because honestly, nothing is going to really happen now. So I said, okay, maybe we should just focus probably on our maybe on our health to start with.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we finally some time off business, and like we are not going out, to restaurants, so nothing is really happening. So let's focus on that. At least I make time and do some workouts in between. So I think we kept ourselves busy in the first couple of months, focusing on health. Because honestly, business, you can't really do anything, because our work is all about going out, meeting people. So this is absolutely against what we should not be doing, during these times.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing. So we kind of got some time to ourselves. We focused on some family things, on some health things. So I think we have kept ourselves busy. But also since the lockdown has been, since now we can move around, I think there's a lot of there are a lot of positives as far as I see after the COVID. At least at the moment, I see a lot of positives. And Mr. Goyal yesterday, plus the Mr. Goyal as well as the other two, we saw a few of your earlier sessions wherein interest rates have gone down.
Yeah.
Developers obviously are sitting on inventories which they definitely want to sell. So so they're looking at offers, they're looking at discounts. So it's nice for the buyer also. Maybe the people who have been waiting for probably 7-8 years and have always delayed the decision of buying. Maybe they are the ones who can probably jump in now and encash this opportunity, because obviously it's a good time now to really go out and really look for a house which they want. And I feel it's a good time to buy now, because it is a buyer's market. I hope none of the developers are angry with me when I say that, but I think it's a buyer's market right now, and it's a good time for sales, both for developers as well for people who want to buy. So I think sorry.
Yes, Nelson, you were saying something. No, please carry on. You were saying something.
Definitely step out in a safe manner, obviously, during these times, because it's still, I would still say that, there are a lot of developers who are offering these virtual tours, wherein, thing can be done. You always want to step inside the property, you want to step inside the site where it is, you want to see the surroundings. So to an extent, it's nice, but then you have to put your legs to the ground and finally reach the site and look at what you're buying. So at least the initial steps you can do online, and then you can get to the site, and all your closing and all can happen there.
So Nelson, Kirti, again, for everyone who's listening to us, and let me tell you that there are a lot of people listening to us. So for everyone who's listening to us, yesterday Atulji called this the golden period in real estate. He called it a golden era. Today, Nelson and Kirti are saying that people who have been waiting, who've been sitting on the fence for 7-8 years, and that's what makes these conversations so interesting, because in real estate, you never hear these conversations when you're buying a car or buying a mobile. You just go out and buy whatever you have to, but a car depreciates in value. A mobile is, you change the thing every couple of years because you break it and new technology comes in or whatever. But we don't seem to spend 8 years thinking of which car to buy. We just go out there and buy one. And when it comes to real estate, there are one must listen to the experience of people like Nelson and Kirti when they say there are people waiting for 7, 8 years. I think there is something that we need to think about over here as buyers. Should we really be spending so much time in making these calls? And today, uh, when this golden period in real estate has landed in our laps, what should we be doing? So Nelson already made a few points. He said people should be careful. People should make sure they're wearing their masks and things like that. And it's fine to take your virtual tours, but you must finally get your feet on the ground, go and visit sites, check out what you're doing. But if I were to ask the two of you to brainstorm a little with me just now, let's put together a checklist of things that buyers should look for. You guys are consultants after all. I mean, like you said, it's not just about taking people to sites and showing them properties. It's about educating them. It's about helping them through the legalities. So even before we reach legality, before we reach a site, Nelson, Kirti, this one's for the both of you now. Tell us, what is the checklist that we as buyers should make for ourselves when we start looking for properties in this post-COVID market?
I think the most important part would be the developer you're planning to go with.
Okay.
Obviously, a lot of people are also suffering losses and it is a tough time. So I think the good idea would be to go with established developers like Goel Ganga, and of course there are many other names out there, with people who have performed amazingly well in decades for now, and have been delivering on time and good quality construction, good product at very competitive prices. So I think the topmost priority would be to check that you're going with a renowned branded developer who has a good past record and who has performed and has delivered at time. So I think that would be one of the most, because obviously if you're buying a new apartment, you're obviously going to be taking a loan, at least for most people. So you obviously have money to pay, and all of those things, which in a time like this for some people may be tough. So it's definitely a good idea to go with a developer who you're safe with. Product will be delivered on time, and you get your house at the time that you want it.
Okay. So first is developer, then what should we check?
So I think obviously you have to look at the developer first as to which developer you want to go ahead with. Obviously, you need a good track record, and you obviously want to know what all which all projects the developers already made, and what the families think about the developer. It's always good to read reviews also online. So Google also gives you a lot of good reviews. So you are, obviously a lot of people will put bad reviews, but then it does make sense to read some good ones also, because there will definitely be some people who will put up some good reviews. So when you talk about checklists, at least how we have gone about selling of real estate is that we work on a checklist to start with, because obviously we're not those brokers who will just go and show a client a property and then say, okay, fine, you decide what you want. So we work sheets, we show the clients what all right from developer credentials to how many floors, we get into complete details. So when a client is sitting, he realizes that it's not about, there's a lot of groundwork to be done before you actually get on the site and start seeing stuff, because you want to shortlist before you go. You don't want to go and see 20-30 properties, but because my experience is that whenever somebody does that, you don't land up buying, because you have seen so much of stuff, then you're confused. The buyer is always confused. So I think always the idea should be like you shortlist 5-6 from what the consultant is telling you. Then you think about all the parameters. You do take a look at the checklist. If it fits your criteria, then you can go down there and take a look at all these properties. But there are various factors you must. There is one crucial factor which I feel is very important is which is a good thing now, is because with RERA coming in, there all the documentation is online now. So not for me, if any buyer really wants to look into any XYZ project, you always have a RERA number there for any project. You'll always see a RERA number with starting with a P. So you can just use that, copy paste that number in the RERA site, the MahaRERA site, and you can get almost everything you need to know about the project in terms of sanction, in terms of agreements that the developer is going to sign with you. So almost everything is available there. So 90% of your trouble, or your fear goes away there itself. So that it's everything. You're assured that you're buying a quality product. So developers like the Goel Ganga Group and the other large developers will always have all this in place. So at least, so in terms of checklist, this is a checklist by itself, the RERA site. So or if one does not have the time to do all that, then you come to Absolute Living. We'll be happy to do it for you.
Sure. You guys are making important points, because we're in the industry, we do this all the time, so we think everybody knows that you should go and check on the RERA site, but a lot of people, far too many people, don't know this. So for everyone who's listening, the RERA site itself is a checklist. Please go on the site and check out amenities, specifications, things like that. But let's take a moment over here. I'm going to go back to the question on the rates of interest, because every time that we do this, we have newer and newer listeners, and I cannot ask you to repeat this often enough. When we say rates of interest have fallen, let's take a quick 2-minute conversation on what these rates of interest are and why they're great for buyers. I know we did this yesterday, but we cannot do it often enough.
I think it's exactly like yesterday, like you're mentioning, what Atulji said was a great point, that with the rates of interest falling, you can either now afford a larger house, or basically your EMI comes down. And in a situation like this, where a lot of people have gone through salary cuts, I think with you having a lower EMI to pay, you can still go out there and buy a property. Because if it would have been really tough if you're suffering a salary cut, but the loan interest rates are high or your EMIs are high, affordability goes down. So I think that makes a lot of difference, because you can still then that way go out, buy the house that you can afford in that bracket, because then your EMI has gone down. So, or like the other way around, you can buy a bigger house because you have that much lesser interest to pay. So it definitely makes a lot of sense, and that's why I think I loved the ideology that Mr. Goel said, that it's the golden period of real estate, because of the interest rate with the builders. Obviously, I'm sure they'll all be willing to negotiate a little extra now, and all these factors will really get the buyers out there in the market willing to really now sign that checkbook, which makes a lot of sense.
Now, the reason that I spoke about this just now is because I feel that what is important in these conversations is for us as human beings to keep going back to why real estate is so important to us. We see so many people who are still in search of the home that they need. It's no longer about whether they can afford to delay the purchase anymore. You simply cannot do it. Like, when you said that you were exercising and you were taking care of your health and you were looking after the family in the first 2 months of the lockdown, I was tempted to jump into your conversation right then, stop you and say, Nelson, where were you exercising? So I'm going to ask you now, where were you exercising?
So obviously at home, I can't really say I'm going down and working out, but obviously I used to have some jogs down. But most of the workout was at home itself.
Very much in the master bedroom, I must say that.
Oh my God, you have no idea how wrong that sounded, but fine.
I know.
I live for these moments.
So, which is why I'm coming to the point that people should buy now, upgrade from a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom and make the 3-bedroom workspace and workout space.
Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely add a point here. One very crucial thing as to what's happening now is, because I personally focus on commercial real estate, and Kirti is the one who handles the residential real estate of our company. So since the time COVID has hit us, and we are all it's a big mess right now. But at least what I feel is with a lot of large corporates, and that's what's happening right now, is a lot of large corporates are thinking on their, the space that they've already occupied. Like really large corporates, they will take up 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh square feet.
Yeah.
So a lot of these guys, I can't really talk for them, but at least I read a lot, I research a lot, and it has come. I'm thinking that a lot of these guys, a lot of large players, are going to, they're going to ask their employees if, because obviously a lot of employees are working from home, and a lot of these companies have realized that our employees can actually sit home and work.
Yeah.
So on the other hand, for people who are working from home, I'm not talking about the ones who have not gone and bought a house, but probably even the ones who are sitting at their own house and probably sitting in a 2-bedroom of 800 square feet, they might think, oh, it's a good time for me to go out. With obviously the interest rates being low, your purchasing power is higher. So even those people can go out and look for little larger homes, because if you're working from home, you obviously you probably need an extra bedroom or a study room. So the ones who are in a 2-bedroom will say could probably think of getting into a 2.5 bedroom. So it gives you space to work. And if companies tomorrow say that just work from you're managing from home and it's a good idea you work from home, so it's good to look at a little larger apartment if you can.
So I think not just work from home, Nelson, Kirti, work from home, study from home, exercise from home, I don't know, hang out at home. It's all home right now, right? I mean, malls opened out, and some of us actually went and checked them out, and we said, this might be fun. But the restaurants aren't open, so you go to the mall, but you come back home and you have to eat. So I think this home has suddenly become this massive priority for all of us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think any which ways, we keep talking about the salary cuts and a lot of those things. But honestly, I know a lot of people personally who haven't really suffered any salary cuts.
Yeah.
And I think those are the kind of people who are really crucial for us as buyers right now to upgrade their homes from a 2 to a 3.
Yeah.
And like I'm saying, since they haven't suffered any salary cuts, interest rates are lower. So it's just the perfect time for them to go out there and upgrade their real estate. I think that it's just the right time to do that right now. And this work from home, I think, is going to continue for a really long time. So it makes sense to have that extra room for your workspace and study space and workout space. And it's just an ideal scenario.
And it's interesting that you say it's an ideal scenario, because I mean, I'm going to ask you guys to project in just maybe 6 months into the future. I don't see these opportunities lasting for even 6 months, right? I mean, this is that little window that the real estate buyers have got, and if we as buyers don't make good use of this window, I think the losers are going to be only us, because like Atulji was saying yesterday, no real estate ever goes unsold. मैंने नहीं खरीद लिया, कोई और आके खरीद लेगा. So there is always going to be a buyer, right?
Exactly.
Is that your experience also in the past 10 years? एक buyer ने नहीं खरीदा, कोई और खरीदेगा.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think our real estate market, touchwood, has been really, satisfying. I mean, I don't think we've had a single day where we felt like, oh, we shouldn't be in this line. We should be doing something else. We've never had a single boring day. We've never had a dull day. We've never had a dull month. I think it's been great, and I think it will continue to be even better. So, like you're saying, it's there's always someone there to buy that real estate. And again, like Atulji said yesterday, roti, kapda, makan, you need it, right? It's basic necessity. You have to go out there and buy that makan, whether COVID or no COVID. You need the house. So I think, and again, coming back to the point of that smart buyer wala situation, I think this is the time where the smart buyers should really smarten up and go out there and buy their house right now.
Yeah, so this seems to be the time for the smart buyer, and the opposite of it. I mean, he said smart buyer, he also said scared buyer, and I'm going to talk to the two of you about people who are scared right now. So what is the way out of this fear? How do you handle the fears of people who come to you? What is the kind of conversations? I mean, first of all, do you come across people with these fears?
All the time. Yes, all the time.
Yeah.
The statistics that he gave yesterday, what Mr. Goyal said is that out of 100, probably you'll have 20 who land up buying. But brokers with property consultants like us, it's like out of 20, maybe 5 will, out of 100, maybe 5 would buy. Because obviously he's a developer, so he's meeting that much, he's meeting much more qualified leads. So for us, it would be much lesser, because we are obviously, we are somebody in between the buyer and the developer. So our statistics are obviously a little lesser, but definitely people have been delaying the, I think we in fact, if I was to go back and look at our database, there would be a good 70, 80 clients probably in the last just 1 year who would who are looking for a house for the last probably 5-6 years, and I've always delayed the decision that we'll buy it tomorrow, we'll buy it next year, or maybe after the salary increase we'll look at going for it. So I definitely I wanted to touch base on this the smart buyer, because everybody spoke about the smart buyer, but nobody really spoke about the not so smart buyer. So I feel the reason why one should speak about the not so smart buyer right now is because probably there's lack of information there. Like maybe the smart buyer has people who are helping him or her out to make the right decisions. Or you have colleagues, or you have your chartered accountants, or you have wealth management firms, so these guys normally, that's the reason why we call them smart buyers, because they're linked to all these people who are helping them make proper decisions. So the not so smart buyer who's not really taken the plunge is listening to probably people who'll say, no, just wait for some time, things will you'll get a little better discount, or things will fall further, the economy might get a little bit more worse, prices will go down. But I think now we have reached a stage wherein it's the perfect time to buy. Like, I think this is probably the worst it can get in terms of the economy. So now if you can't go to the developer, or firstly, if you can't come to Absolute Living first and then go to the developer, so I think it is very, very crucial that the guys who are sitting for n number of years, who are looking for those discounts, I would say this is definitely the time they should get out there and start negotiating and start closing their homes. Because I don't think it's going to, and it's obviously the window is very, very small. Because if I have to sell, say, 200 units or 100 units, I know that my first 30, 40 units or even lesser is what I will give it at a good throwaway price. And obviously these will be the better flats with better view, with a better vastu, with a better whatever. So obviously the window is short. If one is looking at buying, I think one should get in there and just crack a deal.
And I think in the past, the major fear that we have experienced with a lot of buyers, which is why we also focused on a lot on resales, is because the major fear we experienced was, when people out there are seeing a project which is just at the, excavation level, they're just afraid कि building बनेगा नहीं बनेगा, मुझे time पे मेरा घर मिलेगा या नहीं, all those kind of things. Are very, very high, because obviously there have been names in the past, where they haven't been able to deliver, or they have delivered really late. And for the investors, it's still okay. They'll just wait it out. But the salaried guy who's taken an EMI, a loan, is paying an EMI, wants his house on time, wants to move in on time, and doesn't want to spend that extra time paying rent. So that was the major fear. But now, thankfully, because of RERA coming in, that's one big issue that has been sorted out, and which is why I think buyers' confidence now in the last year or so has really gone up, and which is why we are also seeing, a good improvement in builder sale requirements for us also. Is because that fear now has gone down quite a bit. People are willing to put their money upfront, even if it's absolutely unconstructed property. So
amazing.
That is which has really changed right now.
So guys, for all of you who are listening, Nelson and Kirti make two very, very important points for us. They're saying the window is short. It's a very, very tiny window. And for all the people over there who identify with being scared buyers, their recommendation is let go of your fears. You have a short window. It's not going to get any better than this for you. Because the economy is not going to get any worse, and the only way from here is up. It's not going to go low. The only way The only way is up. And if you don't make use of this tiny window, then once again you're going to lose out. Kirti has also said that buyer confidence is at an all-time high because of all the legislation that has come in, because of RERA, because of the fact that so many organized players are now in the market. And really, when you listen to what Kirti and Nelson have to say, it's very simple. They're saying, look up the RERA website, check out the developer, check out the track record, do your homework before you hit the ground, sit down with your consultants, shortlist a few properties, go out there and sign on the check, because it's not going to get any better than this. And I think that has been the key takeaway for me, and I'm sure for a lot of listeners today, Kirti and Nelson. As always, these 40 minutes seem to fly. I can't believe we're already 40 minutes into this conversation. Quickly, last things that you would like to leave with our listeners, Nelson, Kirti, both of you.
I don't know.
I think, yeah.
I think you said it all.
I think to sum it all up, the same thing. I think this is a good time to buy, good time to put your money into real estate. It's safe. There's nothing to fear about. It's not like gold. It's not like stock market. I think it's the best place to park your money, convert it to wealth. I think that's the best you can do right now, and you'll only see an upward growth here henceforth. So I think I could just sum it up saying, just go out there, give us a call and help us. We'll help you find the best property for you.
Phenomenal. Nelson.
I like to also add, Mr. Goyal yesterday said a very, very crucial point for actual end users is that he did mention that this is a market for the end users, not for the investors.
Yeah.
That is a very that's a good news. It is the best news for the end user. The reason being that when investors jump in, obviously, say if I'm making a project and if investors jump in, like the 30-40 flats which I need to get rid of initially, is what these investors are going to take off the market. So the end user is going to be left again saying that hum kal lenge, parsu lenge, ya ek saal baad lenge, because they can't get that price. So what is happening right now is the most crucial thing is that the investor is out. The ones who invest in real estate, at least in this space, the 2-3 bedroom, 3.5. So these investors are right now out. So it is the best time for these end users to grab that opportunity, which normally the investors have grabbed over the last 10, 15, 20 years. So in fact, that's a good chance for these end users to get in and get that pricing and get that dream home which they're looking for. So I think that's something which every buyer, everyone who's looking at buying, that they should definitely, at this point, is definitely going to help them.
Amazing. Nelson, Kirti, thank you very much. Let me summarize quickly again the last pieces of advice that the two of them have given. Again, there's so much to learn from people with so much industry experience. So they're saying that in the past 10, 15 years, the best possible pricing, the best possible apartments have been taken by investors. And that's the way the market is. But right now, the investor is not something that we should be concerned ourselves about. The best apartments, the best locations, best developers, best homes, all available to the end user, people who want to buy homes because they want to live in them, because they're buying them for their children or buying them as a gift for their, I don't know, for a newly married child, couple, whatever. So people who are actually going to live in houses, this is the best possible time. Once again, I'm sorry to say this all the time, but once again, it's important for us to remember that it's a very small window. It's not going to be here forever. The investors will be back. The markets will rise. Developers will not offer these kind of rates to us potentially ever again in our lifetimes. So this is like the pandemic is a once in a lifetime crisis. Real estate buying, especially buying homes for your own self, for your family, is a once in a lifetime opportunity that seems to be facing us right now. And with people like Nelson and Kirti here to help us, I'm sure this process is going to be much, much easier for everybody. Nelson, Kirti, thank you very much for joining us on a Sunday evening. It's been a great Sunday evening. I'm sure a lot of viewers have benefited from your conversation, and let's stay in touch. And I'm sure that people will get in touch with all of you to find out much more about how to make use of this golden period in real estate. Once again, thanks, guys. It's been great to have you with us.
Thank you. It's been great speaking with you. In fact, it was a really fun conversation. It was really nice.
Thank you for having
Super.
us. Thanks.
Fantastic. We'll see you around soon. All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys. See you all soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.